Hi, Mike.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. We had, as far as I'm concerned, some ups and downs with comics this week. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we felt up and down about the same titles. So
Well, let's
let's see
find
how it
out.
goes.
Let's jump into them here, and we'll start off with X-Men: The Onslaught Revelation. Um, we, I don't even know where to start. Really, we've shared our thoughts on X Comics recently. What did you think?
This is kind of a coda to Way of X, and I felt like I enjoyed where Way of X was going. I was excited by Onslaught, and then uh, every time we get into Legion's mind with a psychic entity,
Yeah,
just keep it simple, dude. And we talked about it last week, the Fantastic Four. It's like you can go cosmic and big without getting too much into the weeds. We don't actually need to believe this is real. You don't need to justify it. So I don't know.
yeah, I totally agree. This was somehow managed to be confusing and repetitive. Like I felt like I was reading the same thing over and over again, but it didn't make sense any one of the times I read it. It was disappointing in that, like you said, it was the sort of the finale for Way of X, and yet it all built up to nothing happening really, uh, aside from setting something up going forward, which we won't get into too much. But um, yeah, I don't know. I like the characters involved. I mean, you had a lot of good pieces there with Nightcrawler and Legion, and then even Magneto and Charles Xavier. Obviously, if Onslaught is involved, I like. There's a new look for Onslaught. I thought that was really cool, but it leads up to a whole bunch of nothing, which was disappointing.
Yep. Ditto.
So then we get into United States of Captain America #4, and this was a good change of pace. I don't know what order you read things in, but I went from Onslaught Revelation to this, and this was almost the complete opposite. It was very simple. It was very straightforward, very action heavy. So it was refreshing to read this one for me.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's neat to see John Walker, Sam Wilson, Steve Rogers,
Mm-hmm.
and Bucky together because they all have um, their own take. And I think sometimes people might lump Bucky and U.S. Agent together because they're both a little bit more, um,
Edgy.
right.
Yeah.
But it was neat to see the nuance there, and then we also have these other caps who are kind of, I wouldn't say in the background, but obviously we don't have the history with them, kind of
Right.
providing their own take. So it's cool, and I found a neat little backup story too.
Yeah, that was fun too. The little bonus story that we had. I like the villains that are involved in this story. It took them long enough to get John Walker involved. I was glad they finally got him in there. So we have all these, like you said, these other newer Captain Americas. Though I felt like we were missing one. Like they were kind of introducing one at the very beginning. Well, not introducing, recapping in the very beginning, and then that one wasn't a part of the story really. But we'll see where this goes going
Well,
forward.
I think that was the one we had last issue. So I feel like they were kind of leaving him
Yeah,
there and then moving on with their adventure.
right.
Maybe
It
they
just
come
felt like
back
they were
later.
assembling.
Yeah,
And so I thought, I mean, I guess we still have sort of like the finale of this story to come, and I'm sure we'll get that moment at some point. But yeah, I liked it. It wasn't, this didn't blow me away or anything. But like I said, coming off of the other one, this was a nice change of pace, and I enjoyed
yeah. I went from this to Onslaught, so
it. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, then we will get into what is unsurprisingly my pick of the week. I mean, as you can see, yeah, I mean, it's no secret. I love Moon Knight. I want to get your thoughts on this actually before I dive into it.
I liked it. I liked the sort of battle. I mean, it's a very action focused issue. There's not a lot of,
Yes.
say, plot, um, but a lot of getting into Moon Knight's head, but in a way that's not overbearing. Not like the Onslaught issue. It's
Right.
accessible, and you get that he's crazy and there's a lot going on there, but it's not like getting super. It all kind of takes place on Earth in the real world. So,
Yeah.
the crazy wording, is still sort of accessible. So I thought it was great. I thought it was a great addition to the Moon Knight story, the backstory. So I really enjoyed it. You like this character a lot more than I do. I just haven't been super exposed to him. And I was really, really surprised with this issue, how much I liked it.
Yeah, I think what I love so much about Moon Knight is that he's not just the typical hero. It's not, he doesn't have that Steve Rogers, that Peter Parker, that sort of call to responsibility. It's more so just like, this is my job, and if you get in my way, I'm going to kill you. And that sort of plays out here. My only issue with Moon Knight is that he doesn't really have any memorable villains, and we get a really, really cool look for one here, but I want them to last a little bit longer. So I hope we see this stretch out going forward, because I
thought the art was just so amazing that, essentially it's another Moon Knight, right?
Right.
It's not like Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery where there's all these neat ideas. It's Bizarro Superman. It's just another Moon Knight, but the sort of negative effect that they used in this was so cool.
Yes, yeah, the art was fantastic. I definitely screenshotted a few pages for future backgrounds for sure. And you're right. It's funny that I had that realization as I was reading this one. This new villain calls himself the Fist of Khonshu, which is what Moon Knight is. And he says, I'm the Fist of Khonshu. And the villain points out, well, even a man has two fists. So why wouldn't there be a second one? That makes perfect sense. I never thought about that before, and felt pretty dumb for not realizing that. But yeah, I like that they did that.
Good week for Jed McKay, I think. Yeah. We'll get into another issue of his in just a bit.
Yeah, so we'll jump into Fantastic Four number 36.
Cool cover that actually matches the plot of the.
Yeah, right. We rarely get that. You're the bigger Fantastic Four fan of the two of us. How did you like this one?
I liked it. It bordered on Johnny being a little too whiny.
Yeah.
But once they brought the sort of romantic plot center, I thought that's when it really kind of hit home.
Yeah.
And breaks your heart, but he screwed up and he's paying for, and even I think Ben here as sort of like the audience is the voice of the audience in many ways, where it's like, yeah, it's not your fault per se, but you did something bad, and there were ramifications, even though they're not appropriate, but they're, you set yourself on this course, and but I'm still sympathetic. I understand what it's like to be, an outsider, and so the Ben Johnny dynamic here is pretty cool, and I'd say kind of once the issue kind of ramped up. Although I miss when Franklin became like a moody teenager. Like he grew up somewhere that I missed.
Yeah, we know he had been struggling with losing his powers and stuff like that, but yeah, he did kind of get more angsty, I guess, in this issue than we were used to seeing. And I totally agree with you. I thought so. I felt as though it was dragging a little bit. I'll be honest, I didn't expect this plot point to play out for so long. I thought, it's a science problem. Reed's going to fix this in a couple pages, and then we move on to the next villain. That obviously is not the case. So, we're almost halfway through the issue, and I'm thinking this is really playing out a little bit too long. And then it got into that relationship story between Johnny and Skye, and I like where that went. And they did a good job of balancing this being so ridiculous and so real at the same time. So I thought that was, really nice with this issue. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite. I would like to see, the next Fantastic Four story at this point now, but I do like that they took the time to give us that sort of breather issue where we get more of those character dynamics.
And we just came out sort of like that massive 60th anniversary issue. So this was kind of, previously on, kind of got you back on track. I gotta say, Ben's wife Alicia is quickly becoming one of my new favorite sidekicks, I guess, or whatever you call it, sort of the family dynamic. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, her with the Kree and the Skrull children. It's fantastic. Also, the Kree child, I can't remember their names because I can't pronounce their names, is wearing a Jeff the Landshark shirt, and I want it. Marvel, come on, let's get on this.
So, have you read the Jeff the Landshark Infinite comic?
No. Where do I get this?
It's Marvel Unlimited. So you know how, like, particularly in Asia, the sort of vertical comics are really popular. So they've done a series called Infinite Comics, and one is just a Jeff the Landshark series.
Yep, that's going to be on my reading list. I'll probably get to that tonight. All right, let's move on.
And a friend of mine was suggesting on another podcast that they should do a Jeff the Landshark meets Bats, the Ghost Dog series.
Oh, yes, please. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Start up the new Pet Avengers with those two at the helm. Speaking of bats, let's
and Jim McKay again. Here we go.
Yeah. Our big issue this week. And before we even get into it, I love this cover so much. I think when they first announced it, I pointed out how much I loved it, and I can't get enough of it.
It's like what Jack Kirby would have done if he had like modern tools.
Yes, exactly. That was my exact thought. It's perfect. And actually, again, it does represent, what this comic is about. So, definitely love the cover. What did you think of the issue itself?
Well, my pick of the week, obviously, because it's the last one. There's a panel in here with bats that just, you want to take out your heart. Someone stomps it. You weep over it, and you just go, no. Like, we've had lots of, it's a cheap shot, right, in cinema to, like, a dog dies and just you get sad and everyone's crying. But you never see it from the dog's perspective. And it hurts just as much, if not more.
I thought you were going to bring up the panel where he is telling Doctor Strange it's time for walkies, because that was my favorite panel of this.
No, that's like my favorite panel. It doesn't wreck my heart like the other one did.
Right.
But it's funny because I've always wondered, it was like I finally got the characterization of Doctor Strange that made sense to me. It's not like you go from a surgeon, then you something terrible happens and you go on this quest, and you don't like not become have a normal part of your life left. Right. Like, you don't suddenly just like lose all that. Like, you have these great powers, but you still grew. Like, you never lose exactly who you were. You can grow up and become a world-renowned astrophysicist, but you're still, the kid that watched Saturday morning cartoons, somewhere in there. And so it was neat to see Doctor Strange as like a New Yorker, and Bats comparing himself to Lucky the pizza dog. And then they made him so relatable, and then they kill him. That's not a spoiler. That's in the title.
Yeah, well, when the title of the issue is Death of Doctor Strange, I think you kind of anticipate that coming. I liked it a lot. I love this mystery element. This is a sort of whodunit kind of thing. I can't wait to see where this goes. There is a twist in this that I'm not sure if I like just yet. It was kind of like I wish we would have gone a different direction, but also it's interesting, and I definitely didn't see it coming, and we'll see what they do with it. But I don't know. I kind of wish it had played out a little bit differently, or even just not give us that information. I'm dancing around it because I don't want to spoil anything, but I kind of wish they hadn't given us that information.
You're talking about the ending?
Yes.
Yeah, that's obviously the story they want to tell. So, where they put it. I'm glad that we're kind of moving on from the not acknowledging the fact that death is temporary. So, unless you're Uncle Ben. So I'm glad that it always seems a little phony when they don't kind of acknowledge it a little bit at some point. So, it probably didn't bug me as much as it bugged you. Not that Doctor Strange is not dead. I'm not saying that's where it ends, but it does imply that there's more of the story to be told that will presumably end in Doctor Strange not being dead. or forever.
Right. Which, I mean, I think, again, you would assume that's going to be the case when you get a comic with this title. I definitely can't wait to see what happens because I like I said, I'm hooked on that murder mystery element of this. So looking forward to the next issue for sure. So let me take that down and let's get our third member in here.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to talk What If?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you enjoy this ridiculous episode this week?
I did very, very much enjoy this episode.
So I feel like What If had been very serious lately. And there were some jokes scattered throughout. Obviously, whenever you get Tony Stark involved, there's going to be some laughs. But this came out of left field, and they just went for a straight up comedy.
Yeah, and it was fun. It really was fun.
Yeah, at first I thought, like, okay, this is a little too stupid. Like, this is not what. And then I realized it's the multiverse. Who cares, right? Like, it's not like this is going to have any, it's just a fun romp, Although I have so many questions about Loki's physiology.
Yeah, I did too.
But, yeah, it's silly. It's fun. It's an amazing voice cast that they got.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will say it did at times get a little too silly for me. Like Loki calling Thor his brother from another mother. Like that was okay. I get it. I get people are gonna like the joke, but for me it was a little bit too much. But overall, really, really funny. Chris Hemsworth had a blast recording this because like I think that was Chris Hemsworth. That wasn't Thor. That was just
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I loved all the places they visited too. I especially liked when they went to Vegas. I was like, I've been to Vegas several times. It's never looked that cool.
I mean, you might see some of those same characters out on the strip.
That's true. Yes.
Speaking of, I love that they had so many characters, and then you mentioned the voice cast and getting so many people to come back to like as the original voices, like Jeff Goldblum. Coming back for 3 lines for Grandmaster, and one of them was just release the foam. So,
while they're on scooters, I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen that too many times in Vegas. So that was so perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we had Rocket, Drax, Nebula, Korg, Howard the Duck. I'm sure I'm missing some too. Like, there were just so many characters. We had Skrulls in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And again, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and really almost everybody. There were a few differences. Obviously, there's a different actress voicing Carol Danvers, which we've heard before, but not too many others. I mean, Kat Dennings was back as Darcy. I was happy to get Darcy back in this episode, so that was a lot of fun. I thought it was funny too that. Just how much more willing Maria Hill was to call Captain Marvel at like the first thing she faced.
Yeah, exactly.
We had Nick Fury hold out for so long through the invasion of New York and all of that, and nope.
Although, like, one must wonder if this would have been the better way for the universe to play out, because I know Loki villain, Chitauri. I mean, I don't know what Thanos would have ended up doing, but
I mean, that does bring us to that cliffhanger ending that I definitely was not expecting to get. This felt like if there was any episode, aside from maybe the Doctor Strange one, because end of the universe and all that, but this didn't need that cliffhanger ending. Like it wasn't supposed to happen. I'm not saying I didn't like it because I loved it. I loved that visual and the idea of that story, but kind of explains, one, to your first point, is this the better way for the universe to go? It might not look that way at the end of this. And two, I guess Thanos' plan isn't going to play out because we already have somebody else with the Infinity Stones, and it's.
But who?
Viztron? Ultragen? I don't know what to call him. So yeah, I really liked that ending. It didn't fit. Like the whole thing was a comedy, and then it's just like, oh, here's this, Avengers level threat coming through a portal at the end.
What?
No, I seriously expected them to be like, they lived happily ever after. Like, okay, this was just a fun little thing that we got. Obviously, not the happily ever after of traditional, fairy tale stories or anything, but like in the Marvel universe, sure. Like, nope.
Right.
So we got 2 more episodes.
Is that it?
I think so. Yeah, we're down to our last 2.
Do we know what they are?
We know Gamora is involved in one of them. And she was notably absent from this one. Like she wasn't one of the background characters. At least I would have to go back and look again to make sure she's not there at any point, but didn't have any lines or anything. So, not sure where they're going with her in one episode. And I could have swore I saw Black Widow and Ultron, but maybe it was a combination of 2 different episodes. So maybe that's not a future one. I'm not sure.
I don't think so, because people on Reddit have looked for stuff and talked about what we haven't seen yet. So I think you're correct in your thought there.
Well, if that is the case, that could lead to a pretty cool moment in the comics that they could then bring to the screen. So that should be fun. But yeah, that's where we're at. 2 more episodes. Did you guys watch? Did you guys watch MODOK on Hulu?
Just the first episode.
Okay, so there was. I thought this was reminiscent of one of the episodes from MODOK. There are these creatures. I forget what their names are. They're these little turtle creatures that come from a different planet, and they party so hard that they kill the planet. That's exactly what Thor was, and I would have loved to see those 2 combined.
Do you think of MODOK every time you have Dippin' Dots now?
I probably would, but I don't have Dippin' Dots very often. So
you're living in the past, Mike.
All right, are we ready to talk about some Marvel must-haves?
Yeah, we are. I should probably share the screen with you. Sorry about that. There we go. Yes, we are. We do have some Marvel must-haves. Not a very exciting collection this week. It's mostly shirts, although I really do like this. I'm going to say her name wrong. Is it Ramonda?
Ramonda, yeah.
I really like that pop. And I like, of course, the shirt that I have featured here. So it's just, a whole bunch of Killmonger shirts. But I'm going to go over to Hot Topic, and we can look at some of the stuff there. It's a great color scheme, I think.
Yeah, I do. I mean, the colors of like Wakanda in general with the vibranium glow and all that are always fun.
So yeah, I think that one's pretty cool. And then we've got, of course, this, which we've seen. It says special ops on the side there. So I guess kind of what everybody's job is, right? Or I don't know.
This seems like a vague description that kind of fits everybody.
Right. And then this one again with the actual Black Panthers on the side. So cool. Kind of cool there. Where was I going here? Oh, and then the Ramonda pop. Which it was cool to see her in the dressed up as, the Dora Milaje, or in the military uniforms as the Dora Milaje. So yeah, this is on Entertainment Earth. It's a pre-order, and then they do have a Killmonger as it's sold out right now, but pre-orders are sold out. This is at Target, and it's supposed to be available on October 3rd. So you might still have a chance to add this. I guess it's not going to flip for me. Add this to your collection. And then we've got another one. Well, nothing wants to work today. The thermos that they've been doing the different logo designs on. You were talking about Jeff the Land Shark. So I went and did a quick little search, and it looks like Redbubble has some t-shirts.
Yeah.
And
a little slice of pizza. Yeah, I'm going to have to order that.
And
I almost bought this figure specifically, for the Jeff the Land Shark.
And here, this is also sold out too, but this was on Etsy, so maybe it says restocking soon on the description, so maybe it'll be coming back. But if you want a plush that someone handmade from Etsy, that is awesome. So yeah, but
I appreciate you finding that Jeff the Landshark merchandise for me. My wallet does not, but
I know. But hopefully, back to the must-haves. Hopefully, we'll have some exciting stuff this week after everything we've seen today with Party Thor. Maybe we'll get it.
That could lead to some interesting merchandise, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the Marvel news of the past week. And first up, we had the announcement of just a whole crazy slate of content coming for Disney Plus Day on November 12th. And sort of the headline there was that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings will be available on Disney Plus that day. So that is exciting. We also learned that there will be a special on the MCU and what's up ahead, what's coming. No idea what that means, what that's going to actually show us, but I'm excited. I'm probably going to get my hopes up way too high and expect a clip from every project coming up that we're not going to get. But I'm definitely counting down the days to November 12th now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I will say they did mention that there's going to be some sort of streaming event. Not sure if it's like a live stream or a special or something that's different than the Marvel one that will showcase what's coming to Disney Plus. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know where we'll be in the Hawkeye marketing yet, but Ms. Marvel or, even She-Hulk, I'm not quite sure where filming is on any of these things, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get more. I think they're trying to capture the magic of the Investor Day without it being an Investor Day.
Yeah.
So, and I think they're going to want to go on all, they're doing something specifically for each tile. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited, and you just got me more excited there because you kind of reaffirmed what I was saying I shouldn't be hoping for, but I am. So now,
well, this is going to be a big deal. I mean, you can kind of tell how big of it is based on how many publicists email us about it, and like everybody. I mean, the parks, Disney Plus, obviously, it's a big deal. It's outside of like an expo, it's probably about as big as you're going to get.
Very cool. And yeah, I should mention too that they did say there are going to be like experiences in the parks and photo ops and character interactions, things like that. So that it could be really exciting as well. So definitely looking forward to November 12th. We also got a trailer that, to be honest, I did not think we were ever going to get. At this point, I had thought this project was not coming. But Hitmonkey, we are getting an animated Hitmonkey series for Hulu. Did you guys get a chance to watch the trailer?
I didn't. I didn't watch the trailer.
I didn't. I don't know why. I mean, I think I just it came out and then I was doing something else and then I forgot to go back. But I'm looking forward to it. The voice cast sounded cool.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Jason Sudeikis. That's awesome. I feel like they were like, oh, Ted Lasso just did really well at the Emmys. Let's drop this trailer right now. So I'll be honest, this is something that I wouldn't have been all that excited about, but with how much I loved MODOK, getting another animated series on Hulu, in that same sort of adult comedy vein, I am excited for this now. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool, and I like that they're branching out, or not branching out, but I like that they're doing some more like adult themed content too. It's nice to have those options. Yeah,
I'm not going to say no to any Marvel content. Give me Disney Junior and give me Hitmonkey. I'll take all of it. Also MCU related, and nothing huge here, nothing new really, but Victoria Alonso has been promoted to, let me get the whole title right, hang on, President of Physical and Post-Production, Visual Effects and Animation Production at Marvel Studios. So good luck fitting that on a business card.
I was just thinking that. How do you explain your title to somebody?
This is, like I said, nothing really new here. She's been around. She worked on Iron Man. So throughout the entire, history of the MCU, she has been there. So, just good to see that more of that same creative team will be working on this. Yes, Benji.
Are we going to ignore what Iron Man's wearing? We're just gonna not talk about it. Or...
Mini ears.
You don't have your Iron Man wearing mini ears in your office as well?
I didn't think about it. Now I feel like I should. But
I think more interestingly, that looks like a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man suit back there. That's that sort of design. But yeah, no, that is pretty funny. I like that. Like specifically has the bow to make it clear that this is Minnie.
Yes. Yes.
I think Victoria. I mean, Victoria's. She's one of the folks that's out and about a lot and seems fantastic. But I think it's a sign that they're going to do a lot more animation. And I mean, like on the Marvel Studios side, not Spidey and his Amazing Friends. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but more What If style content, including more What If. Right.
Yeah. Well, we know we are getting more What If. I don't know what else I would like to see them do with animation, but I'm totally on board now. And actually, I was going to say too during our What If conversation that the animation has been fantastic throughout. But today, like I don't know what it was, but I really took note of just how beautiful this show really is. Like, it looks great. What else do we have here? A new Doctor Strange Marvel Legends series figure. Kind of fitting that this was the same week as the death of Doctor Strange. What I love about this is you get all sorts of accessories with this figure. There's just so much. You have 2 alternate heads, 2 alternate hands. The wand of Watum is in there. So just lots of cool stuff with this figure here. So, and I love the classic look too.
Can I ask about the blue head?
Yeah, that was from Doctor Strange's time in the Blue Man Group.
It's when Thor invited him to Vegas.
Right.
I mean, anything could. I don't know my Marvel comics, so I could 100% see that happening in some type of.
Honestly, yeah, there's a good chance Blue Man Group has appeared in a Marvel comic before, so I wouldn't be surprised there. But no, to be honest, I have to go back and do some more research on the blue head because it doesn't. It's for me.
It's he used to wear a mask because someone stole his identity, so he was trying to unmask his identity.
Okay,
it's a long time ago, and I think it was just sort of a way to put a mask on a superhero.
Right.
Very cool.
All in the game wants to know what are the chances of seeing an R-rated TVMA MCU produced property. So. Well, Marvel Studios produces everything now, so Hitmonkey or MODOK, but it doesn't take place. Well, it doesn't take place in the MCU, but the MCU has a multiverse now, so
the MCM. Yep.
Yeah, right. So like it could. It kind of depends on your definition, but it is produced by Marvel Studios. Hitmonkey and MODOK predate that sort of transition, but technically, so whether they will go back to that, I think. We'll see. I think particularly if they announce like a MODOK season 2, that would be a way to kind of say, oh yeah, they're willing to do more. But I think in terms of R-rated content, I think they're kind of content letting Deadpool be that thing. You can do a lot without actually having to get the R rating.
Right.
So to me, sometimes it seems a little, like I want an R-rated thing. Like you can be pretty edgy and still be PG-13. You don't need to show it.
Right.
But say
just because it's over the topness, it makes sense. So.
Yeah, they certainly have the characters on the slate to allow for that to happen. It just doesn't seem like that's a direction they want to move for good reason. Like it makes sense. You're cutting some of your audience out by doing that.
It's not like we're running out of characters.
That's very true. Yes. And there are plenty out there still that they could go in that direction with in the future that I don't think younger fans would be upset about missing out on. We also yesterday got the announcement of Marvel Podcasts Unlimited. This is basically a new premier podcast subscription service with SiriusXM, and it works through Apple Podcasts as well. So more or less, you get all of the Marvel podcasts about 2 weeks in advance of what they would normally release, and that includes Wastelanders Hawkeye, the upcoming not sequel, but the second in the series of Wastelanders podcast after we had Wastelanders Old Man Star-Lord a couple months ago, which was fantastic. I actually need to go back and finish that myself, to be honest, but I highly recommend it. So I'm looking forward to Hawkeye. But yeah, so a new this to me just says like there's going to be more Marvel podcasts coming.
Well, and what I like, they had the deal with what was it, Sirius XM, and I was like, downloading another app, like,
right.
I just don't want to deal with it. But having it sort of an Apple where it's like on my phone already, and it's only like what, $3 a month or something.
$3.99 a month, yeah.
Yeah, so I can see myself doing this. I mean, it's not so much getting the other podcasts early, like a day early, like This Week in Marvel, but the sort of scripted stuff, the Marvel Declassified, Marvel Method with Method Man. I could enjoy that.
Yeah, so some of the exclusive content. Wastelanders Hawkeye, by the way, will just debut on October 4th on Marvel Podcast Unlimited, and then 2 weeks later, just on everywhere else you find your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Pandora, anything like that. So yeah, we have that to look forward to as well. Then we had the announcement of a new YA graphic novel, Captain America: The Ghost Army. I thought this was interesting. I don't remember seeing specifically a YA graphic novel before.
For Marvel or just in general?
Well, I guess just in general, but that would pretty much limit me to Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel didn't really do a lot of the original graphic novels, like when DC kind of went all into it.
Right.
They tried some stuff with like Year One, and I don't know if it just didn't work out or if I just stopped paying attention. But I'm interested in, there's a lot of Marvel content, and some of it's good and some of it's not so good, and so it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. And seeing how it plays out.
Yeah.
And this is the first time they're doing this, right? Or with this deal that they have?
Yeah, I would say, well, with this kind of this effort. I'm not going to say in the history of Marvel they've never done it, but it's it's not been part of this initiative.
I think it's great that they're starting with Captain America too, because he's like one of those recognizable characters that everybody's familiar with, but it's not Spider-Man. Like, right. I love Spider-Man, but everybody knows Spider-Man. So this could be that, like great gateway into everything Marvel, if, for youth.
Well, and Captain America is looked at as sort of the old man of the Marvel universe, right? Like, he's that icon that every other hero looks up to. So this is going to focus on a young Captain America and young Bucky Barnes. So I really like that they're telling a different story here that we don't typically get. So that should be pretty interesting. This is a good spot actually to mention that I have a review up for Black Panther Spellbound, a new YA novel out, not a graphic novel, just a novel. And it was fantastic. The review is up on laughingplace.com right now. You can check that out. It was creepy. It was very fitting for this time of year. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking that out.
Cool.
Last couple pieces of news we have are comic related, and this is Sabretooth #1 coming in January. I love when they do this, give us more context on these villains that we're all familiar with, but we don't really know all that much about their stories. They did it with Juggernaut probably a couple of years ago at this point now, but I hope they kind of stick to it and keep going and give us more and more of Sabretooth's story, because I think this could be really interesting.
Yeah, this sounded interesting, and it's all part of that whole like X-Men, or where the X-Men are now, like their current state in the Marvel comics. Which
even having read a X-Men comic today, I wish I could tell you what that is. But I just don't know. We'll see. Inferno is coming soon. I would assume this is kind of playing into that.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's supposed to burn everything down and give us a new beginning. We'll see where that goes. And then the other little piece of news that we got just before we started here was just sort of a tease for the X comics coming out of what we read today. Again, I won't say too much, but this is leading us out of that and into wherever it is we're going next.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much going on in the X universe, and I'm really curious to see how we kind of end this phase and head into the next phase, the second Krakoan age or whatever they call it.
Yeah. If I don't know if that's what it is. If we are going into Is there going to be more Krakoa? It seems ominous on Krakoa right now, but we'll see where they're going with that.
Pandora. The ultimate crossover.
I want Pandora in Animal Kingdom to become Krakoa. If we could get that to be a thing, please.
Maybe that's why the Avatar films are taking so long. Is there's this like,
they're secretly X-Men films.
Yes, secretly X-Men, and we're gonna get that big reveal.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up for today?
I'm looking forward to more What If. I can't believe we're almost done.
I know.
We should mention we will be taking next week off, at least as of now, because Walt Disney World's be turning 50, and that's a lot of work for us. But we will come back when we can, presumably next week, if not sooner. And anybody else got anything?
Well, we will have Zacks of Life still. So we have a new episode out right now. It came out on Monday, so you can listen to that. But then we'll be back. We'll have another episode next week, so you can kind of fill that Marvel void.
How did I do?
You did not win, as Kyle pointed out, was simply because not enough people Googled Elixir. So that's your downfall right there.
Fair enough. I mean, wait, see, here's the thing. You can win the vote, or you can survive a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Our most recent episode out right now, I'm pretty sure Lee dominated that draft. We'll see. The vote's going to go up today. So
what is it? Can you tease what it is?
It was characters we would like to see come back in the MCU. And we couldn't draft any headliners, and nobody we knew was coming back for sure already. So it on the surface seemed like a very difficult list to put together, and then in the end there were a lot of picks left on the board that I didn't think about.
Well, Kyle told me what Lee's last pick was, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did it make it all the way through your entire draft? So
Kyle and I
pretty impressive.
Well.
Oh, so many. Cosmo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's like I wanted. I mean, like it's like every character has a story, and I want to know all of them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
anyway, follow us, like us, subscribe, smash the button. Is that what the kids say these days? And we will just follow us on the week, because the 50th is going to be nuts. I can't say some of the stuff we know, and I know we don't know everything. So starting Tuesday.
We're going to be busy.
Yes.
Already tired.
Yes.